Stay informed on earnings trends and analysis in Zacks Earnings Outlook.
The Q3 earnings season marches on, and as we normally do, we're going to be checking on the progress here with our research director, Shiraz Mian, who joins me now. So we're talking here on October the 25th, Shiraz, and this is the busiest week of the Q3 earnings season. Growth did finally turn a little bit positive. Are you happy with the way things are progressing, or just cautiously optimistic?
I am happy. I'm happy because we were looking for growth to turn positive in Q4, and we are ahead of schedule on that front. So just to show the growth thing that you mentioned, currently, as of today, with 150 S&P 500 companies reported and estimates for the rest of the 350, we are tracking Q3 growth at positive 0.9%, which will most likely, in the end, turn out to be better than that. But this follows 5 back-to-back quarters of earnings decline, so that's definitely an improvement.
All right, we had some noteworthy positive surprises. Were they surprises to you, though?
Yes, it is, and I have another slide for that too. It's the positive surprises are more numerous, both on the earnings front as well as the revenue front. What I'm showing here is the blended surprise proportion. So what I'm showing is the proportion of companies that have reported that have beat both EPS and revenue estimates. Okay. And as you could see, the 51.3% beat percentage right now for Q3 is better than what we have seen over the past 3 years. So it's better than what we saw last quarter for this same group of 150 companies. It's better than the 4-quarter average. It's better than the 3-year or 12-quarter average. So yes, more companies, a bigger proportion of companies are coming out with positive surprises.
All right, to add a little bit more context here, on the flip side of that, though, there have been profit warnings by some of the big industrial companies. Energy still depressing earnings a bit. All of that said, how long do you think we're going to have to wait before we see some meaningful bottom line growth?
As we mentioned earlier, the expectation is for Q4 positive growth, then expectation and hopes of much stronger growth down the road in 2017. But you're right. It's still the run of negative guidance from a host of companies. Caterpillar came out with negative guidance this morning. 3M did. Yeah. GM talked about issues in Europe. But then on the flip side, you had United Technology did better. DuPont did better this morning. Procter & Gamble did better. So it's not that the positive growth that we are seeing in Q3 now is a material change, that we are entering a new phase of very strong growth. It's just better than what we have become used to seeing. And I think the bottom line on the earnings front, if I could say, would be that it was a drag. The earnings question was a drag on the market for the past year and a half. It'll become a neutral element, and potentially, if these expectations for Q4 and beyond come true, could become a positive one.
Okay, let's run down the scorecard for us.
Okay, so I have the scorecard here. We have 150, as I mentioned earlier, S&P 500 companies have reported results already. That's about 38.6% of the index's total market cap, 4.1% earnings growth, 2.3% revenue growth, 76% are beating EPS, and 51.3% are beating revenues. When we compare the results from these 150 companies with what these same companies have reported in the past, just to put the result in context, the left-hand side chart compares the growth pace with historical periods, and the right-hand side chart compares the beat percentages. And then you could see both on the growth front as well as on the surprises front, we are tracking above what we have seen in the recent past. So a pretty reassuring and positive run thus far.
Also in focus, you mentioned a moment ago, profit projections for 2017. In the aggregate, so far they haven't really budged this season since Alcoa reported at the beginning. If they hold firm, are we going to see some double-digit earnings growth? And then, as you say, might that be a positive for the stock market?
That's the hope. The hope is that we mentioned earlier that a number of prominent companies are guiding lower for Q4 and beyond. And I mentioned some others that are doing the opposite, saying reassuring and positive stuff about the current period. If we see estimates for Q4 and beyond hold up, they're currently expected to be about 5% growth in Q4, and then there's double-digit earnings growth, as you mentioned, in 2017 as a whole. If estimates for Q4 and beyond hold up, that will be the real tangible confirmation that the earnings picture has improved. So yes, if we see, as appears to be the case, that estimates for Q4 and beyond will remain stable. We saw that for Q3 as well. Estimates for Q3 did not fall as much ahead of the start of this earnings season as had been the trend in the year prior to that. So this will be a positive sign, and this will add to confidence and expectations for 2017. I'm skeptical of the double-digit expectations, but even if we cut those a little bit, that will still be an improvement over what we have seen in 16 and 15.
Okay, here's hoping that Q4 sees some revved up growth.
That's right, and we have this slide which shows the expectations for Q3 contrasted with what's expected for the following 4 quarters and the previous 4 quarters. And as folks could see, the expectation for Q4 is for 5.1% growth. Part of that is the energy sector stops being a drag and becomes a net contributor. But there's expectation from finance, from technology, from a host of other sectors as well. And then, as you could see in that chart, the orange line represents the year-over-year growth rate. There is this expectation of a very strong ramp up in Q1, Q2, Q3, 2017. So the outlook is fairly optimistic. We'll see if they'll hold up.
All right. Well, we're going to count on you to keep us informed.
Sure.
We'll check back here with you periodically until the season wraps up. In the meantime, don't forget that you can always be on the lookout for Shiraz's written commentaries, his earnings outlook, and at the beginning of every week, his earnings preview written commentary. Kind of tells you what to expect on the calendar, who's reporting for the week, and other cogent remarks and comments about the aggregate trends in the season. You can link to that all right off of our homepage at Zacks.com. With Shiraz, I'm Terry Ruffalo.